I just did a draft in a 20-man fantasy league. I mean, I'm not kidding you. By the end of this draft, I was drafting guys like Isaac Toslaw with the 300th overall pick. But this was a fun 20-man that I did with some of the followers of this page. So if you guys are interested in doing more of those or more interactive stuff like that, make sure you guys join the Discord. It's the top link in my bio. That's where we do all this stuff. And anyways, today I'm going to be going over my draft so you guys can let me know how I actually did. So I was picking from the 4th overall spot, which I honestly didn't love. I feel like picking from the 20th would have been better because then you can get back-to-back good guys like Bucky Irving and Chase Brown. So from the 104, I end up taking Jahmyr Gibbs. This is who I would take anyways. The first round, if you're in a top 10 pick, is obviously just going to be normal. So I ended up picking up Jahmyr Gibbs. If he wasn't there, I would have taken Saquon because holy cow, do running backs go fast in a 20-man. My next pick was pick 37. I actually liked this because it lined me up to still be able to get an RB2 because I was right in that last zone of good running backs like Hampton, K9, James Conner, Travion Henderson. They were all there, so I was able to grab an RB2. I picked up Omarion Hampton as my 2nd round pick. This time I did have a shorter turnaround, and my plan was in the 3rd round to take my wide receiver 1 because I had my running back scooped up. However, when we got to the 3rd round, I had an interesting choice because at best, my wide receiver 1 would have been a guy like Xavier Worthy or McMillan, which is fine. You know, in a 20-man league, it's the best you're going to get. This was also pick 44 in the draft. However, Kenneth Walker had fallen a decent amount of spots, and he was still available at pick 44. Now, I know how thin running backs are. 20 teams have to have 2 running backs. So there's 40 running backs that have to be starting minimum in this league. So I knew how thin running backs were going to be and how valuable they could be. Therefore, I did end up actually picking up Kenneth Walker in the 3rd round. So through 3 rounds, I had Jahmyr Gibbs, Omarion Hampton, and Kenneth Walker in the flex. After my very long turnaround, I was pick 77. So I was taking my wide receiver 1 at pick 77. However, there were a couple guys I was looking at, and the one I wanted, who I got, was Stephon Diggs. I ended up taking Diggs as my wide receiver 1, and then I was back up on the clock at pick 84. So just a couple picks later, and I was able to get Chris Olave as my wide receiver 2. Realistically, these guys were the best options on the board at this point. I'm actually very happy with these 2 receivers for who I could have got if these guys were taken. Going running back was obviously very risky, and I think I actually made out pretty good with my wide receivers here. After this, we had another long turnaround, but I had the guy who I wanted fall over 10 picks to me at pick 117. I was able to take Drake May. This was my 5th overall pick at 117. So I am happy to have Drake May leading off this team, and I also now have the Drake May and Stephon Diggs connection on top of that. Next was pick 124. Now, if you look, you will see that I do not have a tight end at this point, so I knew it was time to get a tight end. However, literally every tight end is gone. So I reached a little bit down the board, and yes, I did end up picking up Kyle Pitts with my 6th round pick at pick 124 as my starting tight end on this team. All jokes aside, I actually don't think this is a horrendous pick because all the other tight ends were pretty much gone, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a shot on Kyle Pitts. I don't have him in any other league, so I'll pick him up. I then took a couple bench guys. I ended off with Colts defense and then Cameron Dicker as well. I am happy. I did want a good kicker because I feel like in a 20-man league, literally every single point you can get matters. So if you have a kicker who can put up like a 20-point week, that can legitimately full on win you an entire week. So let me know what you guys think of my league in the 20-man. And like I said, if you guys are interested, I might do another 20-man with followers or more stuff like that, but it's all in the Discord, the top link in the bio. So make sure you guys get in there. Best fantasy Discord. We're building it out. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of the draft. Have a great day. Peace out.